gentlemen. How are ya?
We're very well. How are you?
I'm good. Give it up for our cast here. Red Dead Redemption.
Guys, how are you?
I did ask them who attended the after party and got kind of a, I was like, oh, that good, huh? Yeah, well, it's Sunday Fun Day, guys. You having a good day so far? You were here yesterday as well. How's it been for you?
It's been awesome, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been great. You all are so cool. Thank you.
Guys, we can't say it often enough. We know you drive for hours. We know it's not cheap. We love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your appreciation. We love you. Outlaws for life.
I'm seeing a lot of cowboy hats. The Texan in me is appreciating that. As you said, these are the nicest people we have in Wales, but since you guys got here, have you seen any of the country yet? Have you had any cultural experiences other than the hotel? Or had time to?
This time, really, no.
No.
But that's okay. I mean, so we've been here before, though, right? I guess it was probably 3 years ago, maybe longer now. Yeah. But we had a show in Birmingham, and then we had another show in Wales the next week.
It was Chepstow. They pretended it was Wales.
But so, yeah, for the week between, we stayed, the two of us and Peter Blomquist,
Who's Micah?
Yeah, we all stayed in the Brecon Beacons, and it was amazing and beautiful.
And we saw Wales beat Denmark.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the footy. And I know this part I went to uni in South Wales. I used to live in Ponty.
Oh, wow.
Treforest? Anyone know Treforest? Ah! Oh, it's great to be back. I love this place.
I love that you said footy. You're a hometown hero for sure. Well, we'll get to Red Dead Redemption, but I have a question for you. We love to know that the celebrities backstage are kind of meeting each other, and some are reunited. You're meeting some people for the first time. Is there anyone on this Welsh Comic Con that you're either excited to see or excited to meet for the first time?
Oh, man.
Good
Cooper
roster.
from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I threw my back out. I'm old. And he helped me, man. He was giving me a massage. My God, and that fella is not a small man. He is strong, and he sorted my back out. I am eternally grateful. You knew him before, didn't you?
Yeah, I'd met him before. Those guys are all the just coolest guys in the world. But it was so funny yesterday. They were talking. They were just sharing stories about how he's a healer. Cooper has got he's educated now, but he's real. He's always been interested in it, but. The more they talked about it, I just was kind of sitting near them, eating lunch yesterday. And I look up, and Cooper's got this fanny pack. That's him. He's pulling out some kind of...
Y'all know what Americans call a fanny pack, right? It's... Yeah.
What do you call it here?
A bum bag.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of worse, but fanny over here is really bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oopsie.
I'm so sorry. Of course I said something like that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, he's getting some kind of thing, some kind of oil or something, and giving Roger a massage. I thought, what in the hell is happening right now? It's so funny.
Yeah. He had the whole crowd doing remember, who was here for Cooper on the panel, Walking Dead panel? Do you feel better? He was having us do some breathing exercises and really getting in there for sure. Yeah, he's a great one. But we're so happy that you guys came to Wales because obviously we're here to talk about Red Dead Redemption, which I think is the most cinematically beautiful game I have ever witnessed. And I say witnessed because I tried to play it, wasn't very good at it. When I first met these gentlemen, I said my husband was playing it, and I was just in awe. It was like watching a movie. It was really awesome. But I did say, gosh, he sure is shooting a lot of people and doing a lot of bad stuff. And I later found out that you can be good. He was just choosing to be a terrible person on the game. So tell us about, first of all, your involvement in the game. How are you cast in the roles?
You still have to kill a lot of people, even if you're good.
Yeah. In his defense, yeah, a lot of killing going on.
You go first. You're the first.
Well, yeah, so I got a call from my agent, and this was there are different kind of agents, right? You have a commercial agent that sends you out for commercials. You have a print agent that would send you out for, whatever. I never really had much of that. But then you also have what's called a theatrical agent, which is what you would think would be a person submitting you for a role in a video game because it's almost, like a movie or TV performance, the way it's all shot and everything. But this was my commercial agent sent me on an audition for something called Untitled Video Game Project. And they didn't know what it was. And we just assumed it was probably some kind of a commercial for a video game that had already been made. And I went, and thank God I didn't know what it really was. I would have been so nervous, I would have completely blown it, I'm sure. But yeah, had this audition and booked it. And still, when, a week or two after the audition, my agent called and said, hey, remember that audition for the Untitled video game thing, whatever? And I said, yeah. And they said, you booked it. And I said, great, what is it? Well, we still don't know. So it wasn't until I was able to go and sign my non-disclosure agreement that was from Rockstar. Then they told me what it was. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is definitely not a commercial. This is way bigger. But yeah, never even knew what I was auditioning for.
Thankfully, you did a good enough job that I'm here as well. Same. I also auditioned for Untitled Video Game Project.
Yeah.
There's an amazing number of games that are called Untitled Video Game Project. Yeah, it's similar for me. I had done games before. I didn't know it was for Red Dead until probably the second or third audition. And even then, I was like, this is Red Dead, right? And they're like, yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah. And I just finished Rob's game like a month before. And I thought I did it wrong. Oh, spoilers, But yeah, I absolutely was totally infatuated. And to be able to do the lead in the next one was kind of amazing. Yeah.
It's certainly an addictive game to play or to watch. We have so many amazing fans that I'm sure have great creative questions for you. If you want to line up at the microphone, it's just right there. Don't be shy. Come and ask a question. I do have to ask you guys, were you gamers before? And if so, what were you playing? What was your jam? And what was your console? Is that the right term, console? I'm such a nerd. Yeah, console.
So I'm kind of old, so I'm like the first generation that grew up with video games. Like when I was a little kid, it was tiny, there was Pong, and then the Atari came out, and then when I was about 6 or 7, I had a Nintendo. So I grew up and with gaming. And my favorite stuff, Red Dead Redemption, but also I love Final Fantasy. 7, 8, 9, and 10, those are my games. Resident Evil, I was a huge fan of Resident Evil as well. I'm currently doing Disco Elysium now. Just finished Spider-Man 2. I love Spider-Man 2. That was so much fun. Swinging around in Manhattan, that was amazing. And what else? I like Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, gaming is amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, when I was younger, I played a lot of Nintendo. But I just I don't know, for me, I guess I got interested in other things and took a long hiatus. And then the problem with that was they gave me a copy, of course, of Red Dead Redemption, and they knew I didn't have a console. So they gave me a console too, which was so cool of them. But the controllers now have so many buttons on them. And I am so bad. I am so bad at playing the game. And it's so frustrating, too, because I thought, I'm going to be the best person at this game in the world. I'm going to be the one, because I know the game.
Yep.
Terrible. I'm horrible at it.
Well, we do have a gaming area. Who's seen our gaming area here in Wales? A lot of retro games. Yeah, I'm more of an N64, GoldenEye, WWF No Mercy. Anyone remember that?
GoldenEye, man.
GoldenEye.
Oddjob's the best one, because he's tiny. You can't shoot him.
Job. Yeah. I've now graduated to the Lego games. Any Lego gamers? This guy, he knows it. Well, one quick question before we get to our fabulous fans here. Roger, we had a conversation in, I believe it was Belfast when I saw you guys last, and you were kind of clarifying, and I think it's really, really interesting and informative to sort of clarify that in Red Dead Redemption, it's not that you're voice acting, it's more that it's more of a physical thing than people realize. I think that's really a fascinating topic, right?
So many people, like, how was it voicing Arthur? And I'd be like, well, I only voiced him a little tiny bit. Like 10%, I think, was probably in the booth, right? Yeah. No, most of it's performance capture now, just like Planet of the Apes and Avatar and what else? Marvel. Yeah. When Mark Ruffalo does the Hulk, he's doing mocap. Yeah, I love mocap. It's fascinating, and I'm passionate about raising awareness about it because so many video games and now film are using it. Yeah. And we would show up at the same studio every day, and it didn't matter if we were in the swamplands of Le Gras or if we were way up in Coulter. It was the same studio, and it's a fantastic medium to work in, you know? Yeah. I started out in theater, and I think that helped me a bit because you just got to use your imagination, you know? Yeah.
I think that's cool. I think it's informative, again, that it's not just voice acting, it's so much physicality, and it's real acting as well. We've got a question from this lovely lady here. Hi.
Hello. So Red Dead has a lot of sort of takeaway messages within it. For me, the main one being that redemption is possible. I was just wondering what sort of the key take-home messages were that you took from the games.
Yeah, redemption is in the title. People often ask me, oh, did you do high honor or low honor? I'll be like, well, you know, it's called redemption, you know. I do high honor because I don't like the bounty hunters constantly chasing me. And stuff is cheaper in the stores if you play high honor. But you could do that's one of the things about Rockstar. You could do it whatever way you want. You know, you can create a mountain of cops in San Denis if you want, and I've done that. But then I'd go back to a previous save, you know. But to answer your question, I think, you know, people are complicated, you know. You could be good one day and bad the next. And I think one of the most amazing things about humanity is how complicated and complex human beings can be. And, you know, we all strive to be good people, right? Sometimes we fail. But I think Arthur fails too sometimes, depending how you play him. But even if you play him as good as you possibly can, he was still a total asshole before the game started, right? Same with John, you know?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I think Rockstar handled really well is the complexities of human nature, and you know, it can be complicated, especially when you can't anticipate what the gamer's going to do. But I think they really took that into good account when they were writing it and stuff. So I think Arthur and John can be whatever way you want them to be. But if you throw fish back, and then you'll get your honor back up.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of parallels, I guess, maybe with the stories, Red Dead Redemption 2. And like a lot of people can kind of, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but you kind of understand, like we all kind of go through stages in our life, right? As we grow up and we have different things in our life that are important to us. And then at a certain point we grow out of it or whatever the case may be. But I think ultimately we all really need to find a sense of purpose. And I think that John definitely found that. I mean, until he found it, he was a nut job, right? Just like maybe all of us are, right? Until we find out what really actually matters to us. And there's a lot of trial and error with that, right? But, you know, once he found out what it was that was really important to him and his purpose, then there was nothing that was going to stop him from making that be what he needed it to be. And I think, you know, a lot of people can kind of think like, yeah, I get that. I've been there, you know. Not saying that we all rob trains and banks and that kind of stuff, but we all do, you know, we do go through different stages and different things are important to us at different times in our lives. So, yeah, I think that's just another way that people can kind of gravitate and really enjoy the game because they get it.
One of the cool things about Red Dead 2 is that we saw John Marston in a totally different light, too. We saw him before he became John Marston, you know? And you did that beautifully, if I may say. It was so cool. Like, oh, my God, John Marston's, he's a little younger, you know?
And he's such a punk. What a punk.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, guys. When we play Rockstar games, I think a lot of us, the bits that stick with us, the bits that make us smile and the bits that make us laugh, 'cause there's a lot of humor in Rockstar's games. And particularly in Red Dead 2, for me and my friends, there's a certain scene where you take one of the crew for a drink in Valentine, and you can't find him. And that's what we tend to go back to, and it's the one that made me laugh the most. There's a lot of great dialogue in both games. What was your favorite dialogue for both of you? What was your favorite lines?
My favorite part was whenever the gang was all together, you know, because we worked on it for so long, on 2 anyway. 2, I was 5 years working on Red Dead Redemption 2. So all the actors who were the gang members, we literally became a gang. So it was really cool to meet up with them. And whenever we had a big scene, like, for example, to answer your question, when you rescue Sean, and then when you bring Jack back too, from Bronte, and there's a big party at the camp, those were my favorite parts.
Yeah, I agree with that. There were a lot of really funny things, though, too. There were, weren't there? I love this. John was so proud of his squirrel. He loved it. I thought that was really funny. Just some random things like that, you know, that really were just awesome. I'm so glad they take the time to do that, you know?
Thank you, great question. We need to give a round of applause for this cosplay rolling up here. Howdy.
Hey there, Cowpoke.
Howdy.
Howdy.
So I have a question. In the game, Hosea and Dutch talk about, you know, them basically becoming surrogate dads to the boys. If you ever had the chance to be a part of a project where it was like the pre-Blackwater incident, is that something you'd like to do or be a part of? And my second question is, I listen to a lot of music when I work. Are you guys listening to any bands at the moment? Any songs that are really sticking with you that you can recommend?
I just saw Metallica last week. It was just outside of Boston, and I brought my kids. I swear to God, I'd never been to a concert that big before. It must have been about 60,000 people. And Pantera were supporting. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was a nightmare to get there, but when we got there, all was forgotten. Metallica still got it. Everyone like Metallica? I used to listen to, oh man, I've been listening to them since late 80s, you know? Yeah, but huge fan of Metallica. Music is a huge influence for my work and whatnot. What was the first part of your question again?
In the game, Dutch and Hosea talk about become surrogate dads for both of your characters.
Yeah.
If you ever had the chance to like do a project of like the pre-Blackwater incident,
Yeah.
would
Well,
you like to be a part of that?
if they call me, I will always pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they're a little busy with something else at the moment. I don't even need to say it.
Yeah, I would love to work with Rockstar. Any capacity, I enjoyed every second of it. And yeah, if they called me, I'd be thrilled to death. And as far as music goes, if you like country music, and this is like Chris Stapleton, all right? So he's current, but he's not pop. So many of these current country music artists are like pop stars now, and I can't stand it. But Chris Stapleton is legitimately a country awesome singer. The Traveler, that album, you'll like every song on it, I promise you. If you don't, then I'm sorry, but you will. You will.
But you will. Great questions.
Thank
Thank you. I will say country is huge here. Country music fans, show of hands. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I never heard of Chris. I got to check him out. I never heard of him.
Chris Stapleton, I'm telling you, I love it.
And you're any John Cougar Mellencamp fans here?
Yeah.
You're from the same town, right?
Yeah, that song's Small Town. I was born in a small town. That's where I grew up. Yeah.
Oh.
My town is really kind of cool in weird ways. So John Mellencamp is from my hometown. And the Reno brothers, if you guys get a chance, you've got to Google the Reno gang, the Reno brothers gang. The first train robbery ever in the United States was in my hometown. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, now you're robbing trains virtually. That is,
Yeah, right,
yeah.
yeah.
It's something in your blood.
It's really crazy. And they're buried in my hometown. And there's so much history about it. And of course I love it because I'm like, what are the odds of this? This is crazy. But please look it up. And I hope you enjoy reading about it.
Yeah, give it a goog. Why not?
goog.
Give it a goog. Is that so LA of me? I know. Hey there, how are you?
I'm good. My question is, who's your favorite side character or stranger encounter throughout the games?
I love this sun worshiper guy. That guy was hilarious. He was awesome. There were so many good ones, though, but that guy, I genuinely struggled not laughing while he was doing his thing. It was difficult. It was fun.
I didn't do anything with him because I get shot if I try and go into that part of the map. There's that crazy sniper. He's insanely good, you know. Apparently, there's a way you can get Arthur in there. You have to go into a stagecoach and then hide and have the camera a certain way. I don't know. But anyways, my favorite is the pig farming incestuous couple. They're hilarious. Fun fact, any GTA 5 fans here? Yeah, so the beginning of GTA 5, when like that prequel mission in North Yankton, and there's one guy who gets it in the throat and he gets wiped out with Michael and Trevor. Same actor as the pig farming good dude. Yeah, and they were hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing.
It's a fun fact. Thank you so much. It's a little Comic-Con exclusive right there. We're going to do these 3 final questions here. Howdy.
Picking up from the last question, what's your favorite mission in Red Dead 2?
Oh, that's tough. You know what I really liked is the last one, American Venom. Because when I worked on it for so long, but every once in a while, Rob and Ben who plays Dutch and Peter who plays Micah, they would say, oh yeah, we were doing an epilogue mission today. And I'd be like, don't tell me, because I don't want to know. And when I actually played it for the first time, the epilogue was the first moment where I didn't know what was going to happen. So for me, it's American Venom, getting revenge, taking out Micah. That was awesome. That was awesome.
I got through the first chapter, but again, I'm so bad. That's really all I've played. But I really did enjoy working on the house building stuff. Would that be considered a mission? I don't know. But that was really fun.
Build a hammer and a saw and a nail, and I'll build it.
Yes. There actually was so much more of that too, and they have testers, you know, people who play the games and give feedback, and they're like, yeah, this is really, really cool, but also it gets boring real quick, so we don't need that much of it. So a lot of that was cut out, but yeah.
I loved that part too, man. That was awesome. You know, one thing Rockstar does really well is pacing too, because like it can't be go, 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 go all the time. You know, every once in a while they know to just take a breath and you can just chill. You know, there's not gonna be any O'Driscoll popping out from behind a tree or whatever, and you can just chill. Yeah, if I do say so myself, I really enjoyed playing the game. Yeah.
I think you're allowed to say that after all your hard work, for sure. Hey there.
Microphone malfunction, sorry. Hey guys, can you guys talk us through the very first time that you both ever met, and can you recall how you guys felt at the time?
Sure. Well, yeah. It was total chance, but I took a break from gaming. I wasn't a gamer at all through my 20s. And then 34, 35, I just picked up an Xbox 360 again. And I went into GameStop, I think it's Game over here, and I said, I like open world sandbox games. And he recommended Skyrim, and he recommended Red Dead Redemption. And so I played Red Dead Redemption. And I finished the game about a month before my audition, just through pure chance. So I was like, this is the game I just played, but I wasn't sure. And then I met you pretty early on, and he was already a legend, especially in Rockstar offices, And they're like, oh, wait till you meet Rob. He's a really nice guy, which was true. But yeah, another thing to bring out the voice acting versus the performance capture thing. One of the first things we did together was the first mission where I rescue him from the wolves. Yeah. I had to lift Rob up on my shoulder. Dang. You don't do that in voice acting. He's not a small man. And yeah, I was like, friggin' hell, hey, nice to meet you. Okay. But this guy is such a gentleman. He's nicer than me. He's one of the best men I know. And I was a little starstruck when I first met him. And we were just chilling out in the green room in our spandex with all the balls on and stuff. And he's old hat at this. I had only done it a little bit before. I was like, holy cow, man, so nice to meet you. Oh, I loved your game, man. And now you're one of my best friends. Aww. But yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. And he definitely made it more awesome.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I remember very well, too, the first day. And yeah, he had to pick me up, which I thought, I'm sorry, this wasn't my choice. But also, I can't help you. Because they're going to know if I'm trying to help you. They'll look at it, and then we'll just have to do it again. So it was terrible.
I remember at the time, though, thinking, oh, my God, so this is how he get his scars. That's really cool.
Yeah. I didn't want to know that bad, probably is what you're thinking. But, yeah, I do remember. So first of all, I was in the hotel before the day, walking out through the lobby to get in our car to get over there, and Ben Davis was behind me, and I didn't see him because
that's Dutch.
Yeah, but he said, "Hey," and I turned around. He's probably 50 feet behind me, and he goes, "I'd know that walk from anywhere."
You also stands a little few feet up that way as well.
So it was great because I knew Ben, obviously from the first game, and then we rode over together and we got to the location and I saw so many familiar faces from, working before. It was awesome. And then I met Roger, and then I got to see Roger work because the way the studio was set up is the green room, and there was a glass, like you could see right into the stage. And so I remember sitting there watching, and I thought, oh my gosh. This is so cool. And I went home that night and called my wife and I said, this game is going to be so good. This is so awesome. So, yeah, Roger acted like he had done it for 20 years. So I definitely learned a lot from watching him, no doubt. But, yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
I see 2 questions. If we make them brief, we can get to our 2 final questions here. Thank you, guys.
Hi, I was just wondering, the bond between Arthur and John throughout the game, like how it develops, does it relate to like how you two are in real life?
No. Because Arthur doesn't like John for a while. He always likes John, but he's resentful of John. And we don't know why until we get really deep into the game, because John has what Arthur lost. And at first, you're like, Arthur's very resentful of John. He's like, oh, friggin' John Marston, And you're like, well, what? But we don't realize why until we get deep into a few chapters of the game. And I never had that resentment for Rob at all. I'll never forget the first few pages. Not only did I have to lift him up on my shoulder, but I also had to trash talk him and talk dirty to him. And I'm like, I can't say this to John Marston. There's no way. Well, but that's the relationship that Arthur and John have. And I think at the end of the game, we know that Arthur always loved John. But yeah, I don't resent this guy at all. Arthur totally resented John for a while there, And we don't know until we find out what Arthur lost.
I agree with what he said. No, we don't have the same kind of relationship as they do. But we've done some, I was thinking, I don't know what reminded me of it this morning, but remember the polar plunge thing we did?
Yeah!
Oh my goodness. So
we went into Coney Island in February. It was about 40 degrees. It wasn't, it was cold.
We did this polar plunge. I don't know if you ever heard of one of these things, but we went and swam in the ocean in February, and it was so cold. I don't even know.
And then we went and had a great Russian meal afterwards.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
Yeah, in Brighton Beach. There's loads of Russians in Brighton Beach. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. There was a group. It was like an organized event, and we went out on the beach, and you're freezing cold because the air is cold because it's winter. And we got in like a giant circle, and everybody did this weird chant.
It wakes you up.
then you go into the water. And it was so cold, and I remember thinking, like, I don't want to do this at all. This is terrible, but I have to do it because he's in front of me. And so I kept following him, and Roger, as he would get deeper and deeper, the waves would lift him up, and he would go, oh, this is brutal. This is brutal. And I don't know if I was laughing, and I was probably crying and everything at the same time. It was one of the most ridiculous experiences ever.
It was
But,
great.
yeah. We
But
did things like that.
Yeah, but also when we were working on Red Dead 2 together, it was a long time. It was half a decade.
Yeah.
And we had NDAs, so we couldn't talk about it with anyone except each other. So, we got very intimately familiar with the story, and we were all on the same page. And, the NDA is kind of a double-edged sword, because you can't talk about it with anyone. But with the cast, we could talk about it with each other. So we got intimately familiar with the script, and I enjoyed that. That was great. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Family members would say to me, like, "Oh, what are you doing at the moment?" I'd say, "Yeah, I'm working on a video game. I can't talk about it." And I said this for 5 years. It got to the point where cousins were saying to me, "Look, Raj, it's okay if you're not working. We know it's hard being an actor. You don't have to lie to us."
Give up the joke.
And then the posters started showing up, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Thank you so much. We have a final question here.
Hi. Of course, motion capture was a huge part of making Red Dead 2 in particular, and of course, I'm sure it was fantastic. But what would both of you consider to be like the toughest or like the most like grueling scene to record with performance capture?
Oh, that's easy for me. Yeah. Crouch. So, crouch running, crouch walking. I had to do this. We both did, because we're both playable characters. So, we're doing this for 3 days. But yeah, you got to do it like that, and then you got to do it fast, and then you got to do it stealthily, but still fast, but stealthily. Then you got to do it with one gun. Then you got to do it with 2 guns. Then you got to do it with a rifle. Then you got to do it with a shotgun.
Oh, it was terrible.
I think that was it, although it's still a lot. My thighs, dude, everybody says, what was the hardest part of Red Dead? Crouch running.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it.
And so many games, they'll get a different actor to do all the in-game animations, but that wasn't the case with Rockstar. So when Arthur walks, that's me. When John walks, that's Rob. And you can tell, I can tell, I know your walk. I know your walk like the back of my hand, man. And I swing my arms more, you stick your chest out more, and I was really grateful that we had that ownership over our characters, because so many studios don't do it that way. But to answer your question, crouch running, what was the hardest part for you?
That definitely was the hardest part, I agree. But there was another fun thing I got to do, because you've got the performance capture suit on. They can make you look like any character they want to. I got to be one of the night folk. Do you remember those?
They're terrifying.
Yeah, and I don't know if they kind of were giving me, well, they didn't love my night folk performance. They didn't love it, but it was so funny because I'm running back and forth on this stage. They gave me like direction, like you're half man, half wolf, half whatever. You're like a crazy guy, whatever. And I was like, ah. So I would think that kind of thing would move like this, and then they fine tune it, and. But I remember like the directions they were giving me. They were like, like your hands when you're doing it. Can you be like just a little? Can you be like just a little more wolfish? And I was like, yeah, what? So
I was a bear.
You were, yeah.
Yeah, if you, I think there's a few moments in the game where you come across a guy who's caught in a bear trap. And if you don't do anything, and if you just hang around and watch, a bear will eventually come and maul him. I was the bear. And they're like, I'm shaking this stunt guy as hard as I can. I felt awful. But then at the end, what was really funny is because like in mocap, you do what's called a T-pose at the beginning and end of every scene. It's kind of like the mocap version of a slate, like take one, So we would do this. There was always a big screen up on the wall where we would see what the actual environment was, you know? The animators would show us what it looked like in-game. It was a rough version, but we got the idea. And the funniest thing you've ever seen is a bear doing a T-pose. So at the end, like, I'm during the scene, I'm like, I don't think they used my audio. I'm like, and then cut. And then the bear.
Love that. Great question. Thank you so much. You guys have been awesome with the questions. And we want to say thank you to Roger and Rob for not only making memories in the game, but making memories here in Wales with all your adoring fans. Please show your appreciation for your cast of Red Dead Redemption, Rob and Roger. Thank you so much.